Hi everyone, it's Cathys Scott here from Departures Travel, and welcome to our today's Departures Lounge travel show. So sorry that we have to post this later, but we had some technological glitches tonight, and so this will be a little later than usual, but thank you so much for your patience and for joining us. We're really excited today to be welcoming another great speaker, and before we do that, I just wanted to introduce you to Kathy Larson, who is co-owner of Sydney Departures Travel. And again, I'm Cathys Scott, and with us today is Erin Rogers. Now Rogers, I used to have her as Erin Butler from G Adventures. So Erin, tell us a little bit about G Adventures and all of the exciting things you've got coming up for us.
Great. Thanks so much for having me. And welcome. Thanks everyone for tuning in. We have lots to talk about from G Adventures. So hopefully some of you have heard of us before and had the chance to go on one of our tours. At G Adventures, we like to encourage that our travelers get off the beaten path. So we want to take you a little bit outside of your comfort zone, but do it in the comfort and safety of a tour group. We're a Canadian company, but we specialize in taking travelers to over 100 countries all over the world. We like to get up close and personal in destinations, so that's traveling with a local guide, staying in locally owned properties, visiting these like really unique off the beaten path sites, but also seeing some of the most incredible iconic destinations that are available around the world. We like to get local when we travel with G. We want to make sure that the money that you're spending on your adventure is going into the destinations that you're spending time in. So we're going to introduce you to some of the people and the cultures in these beautiful places. One of the examples of a G for Good project that we support is in Tanzania. So when you're traveling on a safari with G Adventures in Tanzania, you're going to have the chance to meet these village elders, understand what it's like to live in their beautiful country, and maybe understand a little bit about the struggles that they have. Proceeds from tours such as this help to go back into the community with some enhancements to their infrastructure, like the cook stove that you see in this shot. So really amazing way to spread the travel dollar around the world and make sure that it's having a positive impact in these beautiful places.
Erin, I have to say, I didn't realize that was a cook stove until you said that.
Isn't that amazing?
Amazing.
One of the challenges in that area is actually they used to use open fires in their homes to both heat the home and also to prepare the meals. So if you've ever stood next to an open fire, you know that the smoke is going basically right into your lungs. So one of the challenges is healthcare in that area. So having that cook stove there not only helps to heat the home, it helps for people to prepare the meals in an easier way, but it reduces their needs to visit the doctor and to seek healthcare. So it's actually improving their lives on multiple ways. So pretty amazing, like just a little impact there that you can have in a positive way. So anyone that's traveling on a G Adventures tour in Tanzania is really helping that community. And it's nice to know where your travel dollars are going, I think. So when you're traveling with us, we also like to encourage that you get a little bit lost, but of course, not too lost. So we have infrastructure around the world to make sure that we're taking care of our travelers. We attract a great number of solo travelers, and we like to think it's because they feel confident in traveling with a reputable tour company that has safety and security at the top of their list. So lots of other reasons to travel with G Adventures. If you haven't been with us before, our group sizes are small. On average, they're just 12 people. So that's kind of just like your bubble size now. So like-minded travelers from all over the world, eager to explore. Our guides are local, so we're employing people regionally. We're training them in lots of different things. They come to us with expert skills, but then we bring them on board with the G Adventures health and safety protocols. Our tours are flexible, so we have an idea of a schedule, but there's all sorts of hidden gems in destination that you might not find in the pages of the brochure. We've built some new booking with confidence policies into place, so I'll explain a little bit more about that later, but just know that when you're booking a tour with G Adventures, we're going to give you the ultimate flexibility in terms of if you need to cancel or change your plans, and that's through our travel agent partners. We're built to support local communities, as I mentioned earlier, and those G for Good projects are one of the kind of favorite things that I think our travelers experience in the destinations. I just want to talk for just a moment about our no single supplement policy, because we have so many solo travelers going on tour with us. So at G Adventures, you never have to pay any more if you're a solo traveler. We like to think that you can go solo, but you're never alone. Our guides are there to guide you along the way and to provide that safety and security. So we have a lot of solo female travelers going off on adventures with us, and we really want to encourage that. There's a lot of places around the world that doesn't feel super safe to travel as a solo female traveler. So we want to change that and give people the opportunity to see these places, knowing that our G Adventures guides and our local offices are going to take extra special care of them. And when you're booking a G Adventures tour, we have, again, very flexible lifetime deposit policy. So just a deposit to confirm your trip. Deposit is due at time of confirmation, but then the balance isn't due until 60 days prior to travel. We have seen the benefit of this policy over recent months where people's travel plans have changed. This deposit policy is amazing based on the feedback that we've been getting from our travelers. So that deposit can be used for the same destination at a different time. It can be used for a different destination, an entirely new continent, or it can be transferred. So if you feel like you're not ever going to use your deposit, you can also pass it along to a friend or family member, or maybe your favorite travel agent. So lots of good reasons to feel comfortable in booking with G Adventures. We also have the stamp of approval from the World Travel and Tourism Council. This is quite difficult to get, and it ensures that we have gone through a rigorous process to put in additional health and hygiene safety protocols into our tours moving forward in light of COVID-19. And I think that's something that we all need to be mindful of and think about when we're planning our future trips, is making sure that you're going to these amazing places, but doing it in a really safe way. And with that, on our end, we've also introduced our travel with confidence policy, because we want to make sure that when you're traveling with us, you're going to feel as healthy and safe at the end of your tour as you did in your home before you left. So we're looking at this and to think about kind of before you join us, when you arrive, while you're on tour, and before you leave, what we can do as an organization to make sure that you feel safe. So before you're traveling, before you join us, you're working with your travel agent. Whoops, we've got, let me just go back here. We've got smaller groups. So our average tour size, again, is 12. Helps with the social distancing and physical distancing. We have lots of options to get your own room if you're a solo traveler and you want to have your own room. It's never mandatory on a G Adventures tour, but it is absolutely available for you. When you arrive, the tour guides, which we call our CEOs, they're trained in first aid, CPR, and safety protocols. We have field offices that are available 24 hours a day. They've all gone through extensive additional COVID-19 training. They are local experts, so they know where to find a doctor if they need to. They know where to find a post office, a bank, you name it. I mean, these guys are just incredible to travel with. Your fellow travelers are coming from different places, but we're going to allow you to connect with them in advance to make sure that you feel comfortable. We have changed our policy. We are making it mandatory for people to wear face masks for now, moving forward into the future, which I think everyone's gotten used to. If you've been in a grocery store in the last few months, I'm sure you're pretty comfortable with putting a face mask on and off, and our guides are going to be there to tell you when it's okay to take those masks off to enjoy your trip. But they're also going to remind you to put them on if you're traveling in transportation with us, or if you're in a space where social distancing doesn't permit. While you're on tour, our guides are going through rigorous cleaning programs on all of our vehicles and boats. So assigned seating, deep cleaning, hand washing required. Face coverings, again, we've changed that, moved it to mandatory when you're traveling with us. And where you're going to be staying safe is smaller properties. So we're working with local boutique hotels. So low traffic areas, you're not going to be staying in a property that holds over 100 people ever really on a G Adventures tour. So small boutique properties is really nice too. In destination, food is such a big part of travel. So we're working with different restaurants to make sure that we've got private dining options for our travelers. We are staying away from kind of open air buffets or family style meals just for the time being, just to make sure that we're increasing our hygiene and safety for all of our travelers. And then on tour with the activities, we're working with local operators to make sure that they're following the safe protocols that we have built into our tours too. So extra cleaning, activities off-peak hours. We're putting in a little bit more free time for our tours. And of course, we want to make sure that all of our travelers are feeling happy from their adventure and healthy before they leave. So our guides are going to check in with everyone to make sure if anyone's feeling unwell, we're going to be able to take care of them in destination and help them to seek any kind of, if they need medical advice, we're there. So we want everyone to really enjoy this kind of adventure, and we're excited to get back out there. So we've started running tours. Again, just a small handful of tours in Europe in September and October and November. Moving forward, we're looking at different destinations that we can open up as early as December. So we are working with our global operations team, with global governments, local governments, to see where we can open up more destinations. So in the past month, we've been running a couple tours in Europe. So if you are in Canada and you are okay with that mandatory 14-day quarantine, then we've got some options for you that you can discuss with the team at Departures Travel. Recent tours have included some local living programs in Italy, some sailing tours in Croatia, and we just did an epic trekking trip around Mont Blanc, and we had a videographer on that. So we'll have some beautiful footage from that soon to show you what it looks like traveling now. At GU, we've also been really busy over the summer months, so we put together a whole collection of tours where we have changed a few things. So you can, they are known as the Travel with Confidence Plus collection, so you can identify these because they have plus at the end of the word, or the tour name, I should say. With these particular tours, we have decreased the group size by a little bit. So some of these group sizes will have a maximum of 12. So before our average was 12, now it would be a maximum of 12, an average of probably 8 or maybe 9, 10, maybe even smaller than that for some of our groups. We've included more private transportation options. We have extra single rooms for our travelers and more personal space. So we really think that these are going to be tours that will help with the rebound of travel. And we'd love for you to consider taking one of these with us for 2021. So the tours include a variety of destinations. We've got lots of different beautiful places. So think we have some in this collection that are our Costa Rica itineraries. We have Thailand sailing trips in this. We have, oh my gosh, there's so many. There's Egypt, we go to 100 countries. So I mean, I could probably name all of them. And we've got some of these tours included. So with the Travel with Confidence Plus collection, there's about 40 itineraries in this particular collection. And we're looking to add more of these to the program as the months go along. The other thing I want to mention is that we are really encouraging people right now to book your own bubble. So if you have a group of people that have been in your bubble for the months, the summer months, why not go somewhere with them, or plan to go somewhere with them? Or if you have people that have not been in your bubble and you miss them and you'd like to see your family or friends, but you don't necessarily want to go and hang out on their couch in their house, we've got some really great opportunities for travel with that bubble group. So working with our friends at Departures Travel, we have some really great booking incentives for this too. So if your bubble is 8, then one of those travelers gets to go at half off. If your bubble is 12, then one of those travelers gets to go for free. Plus, you can take advantage of any of the sales that we have currently on offer. So some really amazing deals on this. One I do want to mention, because I've been talking to my mother-in-law about this one, and it's a Greek island sailing trip. We have a ship that holds 8 travelers. It's currently on sale for 15% off, and the 8th person actually goes free. So you have basically 8 people will get to go on this trip for the rate of 7 people at 15% off. So it's a really great rate, and it's just that bubble of 8 on the sailboat. So basically a private charter, and that can be booked for any time in 2021. So on that one particular, we have departures that are going to be running all the way through the summer, right until October. So if you don't want to travel till this time next year, you can have a look at our September itineraries, and that is one that we are definitely going to probably look into. So we've been talking about that one a lot just personally. So it's our collection of 80 plus tours that are available as this book your bubble option with really nice booking incentives for you with a great discount plus those additional discounts for the 8th or the 12th passenger. So really fun way to travel. Now, I just want to share with you some of our favorite destinations because we go everywhere. It's always hard to narrow it down. These seem to be the ones that are most interesting for our Canadian audience right now and have been popular with our travelers over the past couple of years. Costa Rica is a really great destination. We are actually going to be running a Costa Rica trip in November and starting to open up that destination, of course. With everything COVID, we are monitoring everything on a weekly basis, but Costa Rica looks like it's a good one for our Canadian travelers over the winter months. It's an eco-tourist dream. It has beautiful beaches. It's very relaxed. Their slogan is Pura Vida, I mean pure life. It's nice and chill there. The itinerary that I want to share with you is one that's 9 days. So it's out of San Jose, the capital. It's our Costa Rica Quest Plus, which means it's part of our Travel with Confidence Plus collection. The tour itself goes in a loop. So from San Jose, we're going up into La Fortuna, which is where you find the Volcan Arenal. Lots of opportunity there to get out to do some volcano hikes, some hot spring soaks, some horseback riding. You can people watch, a beautiful colonial little town, really great park in the center of it, and a really great kind of nice place just to relax. From there, we go to Monteverde, which is the cloud forest area. So if you're a wildlife lover, there are ridiculous amounts of sloths and monkeys and hummingbirds bigger than blue jays. I don't know. I've never seen hummingbirds so big in my life as in Costa Rica. Monteverde itself is a beautiful area. We're staying in these like really cute, locally owned, kind of rustic lodges, clean, comfortable, centrally located, a beautiful experience. From there, we go down to Manuel Antonio, which is a national park on the coast. So a little bit of beach time built into this quick 9-day trip. What's most amazing about Manuel Antonio, though, is because it is a national park, we're going into that park with one of the naturalist guides to learn about the flora and the fauna in the area. So just to share with you some of the photos of this experience. So that's the Volcan Arenal in the back. This is the view from the resort that we're staying at. Beautiful. The wildlife in Costa Rica, I mean, you can't walk for more than a few meters without seeing some sort of friendly little lizard creature. The canopies in Monteverde, you can do the canopy walk or you can do the zip lining. It's completely up to you. We've got lots of flexible options for people here. And a little bit of beach at the end, of course, as we do with every good trip. Peru is our number one destination for G Adventures. So if Machu Picchu is on your bucket list, it is our biggest destination. In a normal year, we would send close to 20,000 people to visit Machu Picchu. 1 in every 3 travelers on the Inca Trail is doing it with G Adventures. So if that's on your wish list, we definitely have a way to do that, being supported by our local team in Cusco and our amazing team of porters. They do camping along the Inca Trail, and I still don't understand how it's possible to make a cake while you're serving people at campsites, but our chefs do an incredible job of just wowing all of our travelers with that. In Peru, we're always focused on Machu Picchu, but there's a lot more to see. So this particular tour is one from our Nat Geo Journeys collection. So our partnership with National Geographic started about 5 years ago now. Peru is a big destination, of course, of discovery and exploration. So it's absolutely part of this collection. On this particular tour, we visit the 3 main regions in Peru. So we're going off into the Amazon, spending a couple nights overnight in our jungle lodge. We spend a bit of time in the Andes, up through Cusco, the Sacred Valley, and of course to Machu Picchu. And then we spend a bit of time in Lake Titicaca before going to the 3rd region, which is down at the coast in Lima. So the coast, the Andes, and the Amazon offer really diverse landscapes. Beautiful experience, and the food in Peru is not to be missed. And I'm not talking about the guinea pig that you can find on the menus. I'm talking about all the other things that's found on the Peruvian menus. Quinoa for days, and just the best ceviche that you've ever had. So included in this, we've got lots of Nat Geo kind of cool inclusions. We visit the planetarium in Cusco. We go to a Park de Papas, which is a potato park. It is a little known fact that they have over 4,000 types of potatoes in Peru. So you will often find them on your plate in a variety of colors and shapes and flavors. We go into Lake Titicaca for a local experience, so meeting a family on the shore of Lake Titicaca, going off into the islands that they have made out of reeds, Amazon jungle for the wildlife lovers, and of course Machu Picchu. For this tour, we've got the option to do the hike or take the train, so it's really up to you. However you want to get there, you will get to Machu Picchu with G Adventures. That is something that's guaranteed. In the jungle, you can expect to be staying in a property that is off the grid. It runs on a generator, which cuts out at about 10 o'clock at night. You're very, very remote. I'm pretty sure they still use satellite phones here. To get there, you fly into a little area called Puerto Maldonado, and you take a 2.5-hour motorized canoe up into the jungle. So pretty off-grid here. All the food is locally sourced. All the staff are from the Amazon, and you're off every day going out with a naturalist guide to see everything, to listen to their stories about flora and fauna, to look for these beautiful birds, and also the creepy crawlies that you might find in the Amazon. In Cusco, you'll find the heart of the Incan Empire. Our local office is just around the corner from where this photo was taken, or this video was taken, pardon me. This is where we do all of our Inca Trail info talks, and where our travelers just have the most amazing experience high in the Andes Mountains. Taking the train is probably the most relaxing way you'll get to Machu Picchu. It is a vista dome, so you have beautiful sights along the way, all along the shore of the Rio Urubamba, or you can take the hike and sweat it out and do some camping with us under the stars. Either way, we'll get you to Machu Picchu, where you'll meet up with one of our Inca warriors for a guided tour around this beautiful site. I'm not going to tell you the history of Machu Picchu because it's best heard from someone who is there. All of our Inca warriors are Peruvian. They are often descended from Incas, so it's their family history that they're telling you, not just one that I've read in a guidebook. Having been to Machu Picchu now twice, both times I cried my eyes out. It is going to overwhelm you, even if you've read a lot about it. But beautiful site, definitely one for the bucket list, and you get this nice little stamp to remind you that you've had a chance to visit Machu Picchu. The tour is rounded out with a little visit for some culture down in Lake Titicaca. You can see in this photo there are some very weird looking islands in the back. They are built from reeds. So they have reeds that are about a meter thick, these floating islands. It's an area that was once populated. It's now more like a living museum as people have moved to the shores for better infrastructure and education for their kids, but still a really amazing experience. So one of our faves at G Adventures. We're going to hop around the world quickly tonight. So over to France, we've got a really amazing experience to consider for your next adventure, and that is one that we call our Rosé All Day Tour. It's our Burgundy River Cruise trip. It's aboard this cute little vessel, the Danielle. It's 8 days. It loops through Burgundy, starts and ends in Dijon. We have space on the ship for just 18 travelers. So the actual capacity of it is 22, but we've reduced that capacity for 2021 to just 18 travelers. There is an outside alfresco dining. I was trying to say all those words at once. Alfresco dining, there's bikes on board. It, of course, is like a barge experience, captained by an amazing team with 2 of our G Adventures guides on board. They do breakfast and dinner included. They also do flights of cheese in the afternoon, complimentary beer and wine, and I think we all need a little cocktail after the past few months. So great trip to think about for next year. It's beautiful itinerary. We do a couple full day bike excursions. We do have electric bikes that are available to hire. we have foldable bikes that are available for people to use off the ship. And then we have included bicycles with a guided tour, which means that there is a support vehicle. So if you try too much of the wine at one of the wineries, we can pick you up and take you back to the ship too. So really great way to travel. You could also sit back and relax. We have this beautiful sun deck on top. So if you want to travel through all the different locks in this area and just watch the landscape change as you go along the canals, you are most welcome to do that. So we start off with one night in Dijon, and then we're spending the rest of our time on our beautiful little ship, the Danielle. The focus in this region of the world is the wine, of course. So we're going to get into some of the most beautiful ancient Burgundy wineries to listen to the art of winemaking from the local sommeliers and winemakers. We're also going to get into an area that is called the Côte de Beaune. For these tiny little French villages, this is one of the most famous vineyards in the world, Montrachet. On board, we've got a nice open lounge area. We often have that door wide open so people can kind of come and go as they please. You can see the bikes there and the steps up into the upper deck level. And of course, we've got this cute little dining area for everywhere on board. So a really small experience, a small ship experience for France, and just 18 people. So if you wanted to round up a bunch of friends, then we could probably find you space on this one.
Erin, we had a group of ladies go on this itinerary with G 2 or 3 years ago now with Pamela, one of the girls that works with us, and they had a spectacular time. They really enjoyed it and said they would do it again in a heartbeat.
I think we've actually had a few people that have repeated on it too, that have gone back and done the exact same trip. So I'm not surprised. That's amazing feedback. It's one of our staff picks, as we've affectionately termed it, the Rosé All Day Tour. So definitely one of our more popular ones. Heading onwards from France over to Egypt, and we're going to go pop through Africa and then round it out with a special destination at the end. So Egypt is one that we seem to get a lot of growing interest in. It's beautiful time actually to be traveling to Egypt next year, where we won't be seeing the crowds that have been there in the past. And I think that's really unique about travel, and we keep getting asked, like, what's it going to look like post-COVID? And there's lots of things that are going to change. We're really hoping that there is more focus on the local community tourism post-COVID, and in Egypt you will definitely find that with our local guides and the places that we're staying and the experiences that we have included. Our Egypt Upgraded Plus is part of the Travel with Confidence collection. So it's 12 days out of Cairo. And let me just show you what the map looks like here. So on this one, we've got a 3-day Nile cruise included. We visit the pyramids right off the bat, of course, because you can't go to Cairo and skip that part. You basically can see them from Cairo, from where we stay. We go up into the Library of Alexandria. So we have a little bit of coastal time in the north. We fly down into Aswan, Abu Simbel. And of course, we're jumping into the Nile there. So we get this really neat local experience by visiting a Nubian village by Felucca, but then we have a 3-night cruise on the Nile. So I want to show you a little bit about this. So one of our most photographed sites, of course, has to be the pyramids. So no one goes to the pyramids without doing at least a few selfies, maybe now, or taking a shot of the pyramids and the Sphinx. So we've got this really just on the doorsteps of Cairo. So once kind of located in the remote desert, Cairo is sprawling. And of course, it's a little bit closer to the heart of the city now than it was ever before. Alexandria is what you'll find in the North Coast. So this is named after Alexander the Great. It is the most kind of European part of Egypt, I guess we'll say. So it's the only site really on the Mediterranean coast. So we're kind of like beachy atmosphere. It's a little bit different than the desert that you would think about experiencing when you're in Egypt. Down in Aswan, we visit the Twin Temples of Aswan. We go by caravan. It includes a 2-hour site tour around this area. So one of the most interesting things I think about this site was that it was not only was it built, I mean, in 1200 BC, but if it wasn't for the modern wonders of engineering, it would be under the lake. So it's been built and then relocated by some really incredible engineers that figured out how to preserve these amazing temples. We visit Kom Ombo in this area, where we get to see a mummied crocodile. Seems like something out of Indiana Jones. And then we get to see the Karnak Temple in Luxor. So really nice, well-rounded tour. All of our guides in Egypt are Egyptologists, so they are specialists in Egyptian history, and they are just the most loveliest people, just really excited to be welcoming tourism back to their country after all of the challenges that they've had. Now we have to include a safari. This was my last trip with G Adventures last summer that I enjoyed on my honeymoon. So I always love to talk about this experience. This is one of our fave tours. It's Explore Southern Africa. It's also part of the National Geographic Journeys collection, which means that you're gonna have 4-star-ish accommodation. We have more breakfasts included, more kind of historical, cultural content for our travelers, like think more talks in destination to understand what you're looking at a little bit more in depth. Chance to meet some Nat Geo scientists and researchers in some of our National Geographic programs. And of course, they've had the stamp of approval by one of the biggest travel companies on the planet, National Geographic. This tour starts in Cape Town, a great area to visit. Cape Town is one of our favorite cities. It's beautiful. They've got great wine, beautiful views, great seafood, lots of really interesting history, lots of colorful history, and incredible beaches. I can't say enough amazing things about Cape Town as a destination. We fly from Cape Town up to Johannesburg, and then we go outwards for a tour in Soweto. Then we're going onwards to Kruger National Park and Karangwe National, or Private Game Reserve, pardon me. So those two parks are where you're gonna see all of the animals. So Big Five, where you'll find the rhinos, the elephants, the lions, and leopard, and I'm missing one, the hippo, the Big Five. We're also gonna be seeing more cats. So if you're thinking about an African safari, if that's always been on your dream list, you're probably thinking, should I go East Africa or should I go Southern Africa? Biggest difference, in my opinion, having been to both, is all about cats. So if you really want to see like lion, leopard, cheetahs, Kruger National Park and that surrounding area has more of the big cats than East Africa, more concentrated. So that's one of the absolute highlights on this tour. And in Kruger, we actually get to see so much incredible wildlife. We're doing these off-road open air safaris. And then in Karangwe, we meet up with someone from National Geographic that studies cheetahs. So they come in to join us at our beautiful camp. They spend an hour talking to us about cheetahs and how to preserve them and how they need to be protected. And then they join us for a safari. So really amazing experience. After the safari experience on this tour, we fly up to Victoria Falls, which is just a stunning site on the border between Zambia and Zimbabwe. We meet a local family there. We have this local kind of interactive experience with a nice home-cooked meal, and there's lots of activities to enjoy around that area. So just to give you some photos from this experience, Cape Town, this is just along the waterfront where you'll probably be diving when you visit there. Whoops, oh, I missed the penguins. Very important. Penguins in Cape Town are a must-see. These are at Boulders Beach. It's an included tour down the Cape Peninsula on our itinerary. In the parks, you're in an African safari. It literally feels like you are in a National Geographic documentary when you're on this tour, because you are traveling in this really cool open air jeeps. They're kind of elevated in how you sit, so everyone has view. Definitely open air. You cannot get out of them, of course, but you can get really close to the wildlife in destination. The experience of taking photos in this area is priceless for a lot of people. If you're an aspiring photographer and love wildlife, you just have to get on a safari if you can, or maybe more than one safari. It's one of those destinations that you go for the wildlife, you remember the people that you met, but it's just going to make you want to go back again and again, I think. Victoria Falls too. I mean, this is a shot from over the falls, of course, taken by helicopter. In this area, there's so much activities. So you can do cultural touring, you can go hiking through the park right at the falls, you can go whitewater rafting, you can take a wildlife river cruise, you can take a booze cruise on the river, you could go bungee jumping if you wanted to. It is full of adventure and a really neat destination to include on your Africa trip. Last place I wanted to mention tonight, I know that's a lot, I love talking about travel, is Antarctica. This is a big bucket list item for a lot of travelers. We've just released our 2022 and 2023 dates. So if you are thinking about putting this on your wish list, the vessel that we have is really small. So not 18 passengers small, because that just wouldn't work for that area of the world, but it has a capacity of 134. So it's pretty small. This is our G Expedition ship. It has 5 decks on board with different categories of cabins. We've got 1 expedition guide for every 10 travelers. One thing I really like about this one actually is that it has an open bridge policy. So you can go and spend time with the navigation team and connect with the captain. They don't let you do that on the BC ferries. It's a really unique experience. We've got a sunbed on top, and we actually see some of our travelers up there in their snow pants getting some Antarctic sunshine when the weather is nice. We do excursions that are all included in the pricing. So usually twice daily excursions in the Zodiacs with our expedition team to set foot on Antarctica. The wildlife there is phenomenal. Penguins pretty much everywhere that you look. Whales in the later season. We have the chance to see a variety of seals. When we travel to Antarctica, it's actually not super cold either. If you are born and raised in Canada, I'm pretty sure you can tough it out at in between -2 and +2. It's not very cold for our Canadian blood. So we travel between October and March into Antarctica when it's their summer season. So it's not tropical by any means, but I mean, it's Antarctica. It's not as cold as what most of our travelers would think. Most people are really surprised actually by how pleasant the weather is when they're there. We include jackets, so you won't be cold. We also give them to you as a present when you're leaving. And then we have boots on board for everyone to borrow, so you don't need to even buy any fancy gear for Antarctica other than maybe get a nice little lens for your camera to take some incredible wildlife shots. The most popular tour that we do is our Antarctica Classic. So it runs those months between really kind of November to March is our core season for Antarctica. The most popular time to go is January, and I will tell you why, and it's because of, oh, that's not the right picture. Let me just back that one up. It's because of the penguin babies. I must have pulled that shot out. So penguins have their babies in January. So if you want to see penguin babies, be sure to book yourself an Antarctica trip then. It's also at the height of the Antarctic summer, which means the days are longer. So you can have almost 24 hours of daylight and warmer temperatures at that time of year. The trip itself, it's crossing the Drake Passage, so it tends to be a little bit rough, could be very, very calm, and we would call it the Drake Lake then. It's a day and a half to cross that passage, but then once you're in the Antarctic Peninsula, you are cruising through waters like this. So seeing icebergs, we go for hikes, we do actually a couple really fun things. So we do like a penguin slide. So you hike up and then you slide down the mountain on your belly like a penguin would. And we do a back deck barbecue when the weather is nice. Beautiful area of the world. If you have the opportunity, it's really great. Our prices for our 2022, 2023 dates are staying at the 2021, 2022 rates. So we've got some really great deals actually out there right now that you can talk to the team at Departures Travel about. These guys are really why to go to Antarctica. It's very pristine, no permanent human population, and you have the chance to walk with penguins. It's kind of the ultimate traveler bragging rights, I think, visiting this remote area of the planet, and we'd love for you to join us there. This is the zodiacs that we're talking about in doing the landings. Very stable. A lot of people would think, oh my gosh, no, it's a zodiac, but it's very stable. If you've done a whale watching experience, it is nothing like that. It's very much more calm. They're very thick zodiacs. They are built for these seas, and we have affectionately named them after the provinces and territories of Canada because we're a Canadian company. So this is the Saskatchewan zodiac, and our expedition guide is taking these travelers through to see some of the icebergs that you have the chance to see in Antarctica. There's the baby shot. So January, kind of February is optimal time to get to Antarctica. There are less boats if you go early in the season, and there are more whales if you go late in the season. So whenever it is that you get the chance to visit, it is absolutely worth your time. It's such a beautiful destination. So that's it from me. We want to just say thank you so much for tuning in. We love taking people on amazing adventures. So we can't wait to bring you to some of these destinations, and hope that you talk to the team at Departures Travel to learn a little bit more about what we do at G Adventures.
Thank you so much, Erin. It's really great to have you as a presenter, because you've gone to so many of these places, and your passion for travel is quite evident. So thank you so much for coming on, and for accommodating a later time. Please join us next week. We have Steve Lassman from Villas of Distinction. So if you're ever wanting to rent a villa in Tuscany with a bunch of friends, or maybe a beautiful little place in the Caribbean, this would be something that would interest you immensely. So we'll see you next week, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thanks, Erin. I'm totally inspired, and now I just want to go. Thank you.
Me too. Thanks.